Yo, yo, yo. It feels good to say that. We're back for probably the fourth time or fifth time. Trending down. Got myself Ethersole. Bender on the mic. I got to plug this from our producer. We have a new YouTube. Go check it out. We're actually pushing a new rebranding as well, kind of something we've been working on since we've been a little absent. So you'll see all new graphics and some good content. Today we're going to be talking about, SBF, FTX, giving our thoughts there. We'll touch on some BAYC updates, and then there's a bunch of Twitter topics to kind of go over. But let's start with just like catching up real quick. How we doing, my guy?
Good, man. It's been a long time. Had a nice
really
holiday
has.
break, and it's time to get back into it, I guess.
I know. Do you think we still know how to do this?
I don't think you ever lose it. It's like riding a bike, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm all for that angle.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's been crazy. Like to take the time off that we did, like I think was good because so many people were talking about the same thing over and over and over. So it would have just kind of been redundant. But now that the dust has settled a bit, if you can say that, it's probably good to weigh in and push some content.
Yeah, that's exactly why I kind of bounced from the timeline for a few days. It was just SBF and FTX stuff constantly every day, and it was the same content.
Yeah. I mean, for a while there, couldn't even log on without it seemed like a new breaking news every single second. And we'll get into that a little bit later, but it just like everyone wanted to provide some new insight on it, and it was really just recycled takes over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But I mean, last time we talked, I feel like FTX was still like fine, obviously. But for those who like somehow listen to us and don't know, which I think is no one at this point, they are bankrupt.
Right.
Super bad for the industry, super bad look. Super unfortunate to anyone that lost money, feel for you. And, you can always bounce back if you need someone to talk to, hit us up. There's always another option for, kind of getting over the struggle. But that being said, I mean, it's just the stories that are coming out are insane. Have you kept up with like some of the major drama?
Oh man, if by major drama you mean the stuff FTX and SBF got into, then yeah. If it's anything else like more industry specific about like X, Y, and Z person, there's a good chance I haven't.
Yeah, I meant like I feel like a lot of the stories that are coming out about what they were doing in their little castle in the Bahamas could be kind of like glorified in a sense. I mean, they just don't seem like the type that were like raging and partying with, sex, drugs, rock and roll type of deal. But yeah. I mean, the stories are just insane.
Yeah, dude. I don't know if I believe half of them. But at the same time, like, what else do you do in the Bahamas when you're like stealing millions of dollars from people? So I don't know.
Right. I mean, you can't believe anything he says now, right? He's clearly like a pathological liar. So, and then those type of people convince themselves even of their own lies. And so I think that's where he's at, where he's doing all these interviews. I mean, he's on Good Morning America today, and it just seems like the guy fully convinced that, it was just a couple bank accounts mislabeled and that's it. Instead of the main thing is, dude, you took user money and used it, in inappropriate ways.
Right. It's shocking that this is kind of being glorified for him. And he's like this new publicity figure.
I know.
If I did this, I'd be in prison.
I mean, how many people in crypto, like smaller guys, like the tornado devs and stuff like that, immediately get locked up?
Yeah, that's a weird one. And that's the one
Right.
people keep pointing to is, why is the dev in prison, but SBF stole billions or whatever it was and is doing interviews? And there's no answer.
No. I mean, you could argue like facilitating North Korea and stuff like that, so the government takes it super heavy.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, I don't want to say it this way, but a white collar crime in a sense.
Yeah.
it always seems financial crimes just kind of go a little like unnoticed or lenient on the overall punishment.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't ever see a day in prison. That's going to bother me, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, I was gonna tweet that out, and I feel like I've just been like not touching on it, kind of with like overall takes. But I agree, like the kind of narrative that's being pushed right now makes you truly believe that he's gonna be able to argue like negligence on kind of like what's been going on at Alameda versus like, you know, not being aware of the commingling of funds is like kind of his angle. Instead, it's just, oh shit, like the market nuked and we got caught with a bank run scenario. It's like, you're not a bank.
Yeah, and I bet that was probably guidance from his both legal team and maybe his parents, who are both in the legal world.
Oh, 100%. I mean,
like there's no way it wasn't.
It's crazy that how connected he kind of was, and that,
yeah,
you know, FTX had a ton of higher up people in their back pocket. Again, you can't trust everything. Like, we know about his donations to the Democrats, and then he's saying there was like dark money he was sending to the Republicans, which means like essentially the same notional value of the donations going to them, but not publicly. Mm-hmm. So he was playing both sides of the field is what's coming out. But I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, and I don't even know if I believe any of it anymore. All I believe at this point is like SBF kind of sucks. He wasn't as smart as we thought he was, and here we are.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't declared bankruptcy this cycle, you're literally a Chad.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, we all outtraded the top hedge funds, and it's fucking insane to me that they were just as big of apes as everyone else, just trying to make the most out of everything.
Yeah, they were just the most maximizing degen people there were.
Crazy.
Am I shocked? Crazy. No. Am I annoyed? Maybe. Not sure if I'm annoyed.
Right. And there's an argument that he probably could have gotten away with this. Yeah, and that brings me kind of to my next question for you is like, how so this all started with a CoinDesk article, right, that came out, said, hey, they're probably insolvent because their collateral is just their own fucking random ass token.
Right.
And then CZ kind of went to war. I mean, is this a good look for her CZ, you think?
I don't think it matters. I think it's like CZ is going to frame it as a betterment of the ecosystem by removing bad actors or things that were always dangerous. And he's going to say he was never involved with it. He was just simply saying, we're going to absolve these tokens because of what we've learned. But he knows the outcome of those choices, right? Like, he knows that causes a bank run. He knows that causes a downfall of FTX. And it's all, from my perspective, like a monopoly run for him of he's taking out competitors one at a time. So, like, is it a bad look for CZ? Man, like, maybe on like a social level, but on like a business level, he's like executing a really aggressive playbook to make sure he survives and holds market share. Mm-hmm. So fuck, like, that's a hard question.
I know. And then you kind of like go back to, okay, would he do the same things now? It's not fair to say that he caused the whole issue, because the issue was going on for some time. He definitely like lit the match. So maybe it's good to get it out of the way now. But you could argue that with equities kind of pumping, we would probably be much higher than where we are right now. And ETH is sitting around like 1250-ish, Bitcoin around 17K. So I think we'd be closer to like 2K, 2500 ETH, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know what else would have dragged us down like this, but it feels kind of good to see us sitting around this pivotal support in the wake of this monstrous moment.
I know. It's true. I mean, you can look at the merge already playing out massively, because I think I read something like 1.2 billion Ethereum hasn't been printed since we've been deflationary for a bit there. So that's wild to think about.
If they could have just printed like 1 million of that to my wallet. Do you ever think about that? I think about it all the time when I see the numbers. I'm like, man, if they could have just like slid me like 1,000 of that.
I mean, some of these funds come out and be like, "Hey, we lost 30 million in the FTX thing." Like like BlackRock, "Hey, we lost 30 million." To them, it's pennies, but then when you think about it, yeah, it kind of boggles the mind a bit.
Yeah, like, hey, what if we just didn't do that and instead gave it to us?
Like, we'll take more airdrops, please.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. SBF won't be in jail for a long time in my head, if at all. But yeah, I mean, it's good to wash all this out now, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The thing that kills me and also maybe makes me more tempered in the SBF conversation is when I learned that his League of Legends rank was lower than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's rank. When I learned that, and I was like, all right, one of these people is in the U.S. government, like probably more busy than SBF has ever been, and still manages to have a higher rank than this guy has, who wrote a literal poem to League of Legends on Twitter.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, it's bad. Don't go look for it. It will make you cringe at levels you didn't think were possible. It was like
the guy blocked me 2 years ago when I was like, bro, you're a scam artist, because he was doing all those high, fully diluted value coins. And then I figured he was trading against his own users when he first ran up FTX, and then he blocked me. So I haven't been able to see. I always have to go like incognito to see what he's saying these days. But yeah,
that's a badge.
If you go back to some of the last episodes, I mean, we kind of called out his whole thing, right? Like, and it's insane how these guys weren't winning. I mean, it's like being the casino and then also sitting at the table and knowing what cards you're being dealt and still somehow getting cleaned out.
Right. It's crazy.
I know. And I'm still like, where did the money go? I don't think anyone's really answered that.
I mean, did you see that SBF and his family had purchased so many millions of dollars of land in the Bahamas, and it was in his parents' name?
See,
like, I know where the money went.
Right? So, I mean, it's all going to come out eventually. Like, forensic accounting is probably going ham on all that shit right now. And then there was like some documents that showed he basically loaned himself like around $3 billion. So it's just like, clearly the money is somewhere and it's all going to come out. But with the way the media is portraying this, and then, I mean, I hate to go like full conspiracy, but someone's pockets are getting greased higher up.
Oh, for sure.
Right? I mean, even Gensler was like, and the SEC were in his back pocket. Like, it's just not a good look.
As long as they let my little crypto coins exist in a little crypto world, like,
I know.
Just send this dude to jail for like a small amount of time so I feel better. Let my coins exist and do whatever else you want.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things, like, I'm okay with getting to buy ETH around these levels. I mean, it's below the 2017 high. And then if you think about how much the industry has like progressed in those 5 years, it's a no-brainer, especially with the structural flows of ETH fully changing, it being deflationary. Like, anytime we get some sort of on-chain activity, it's going to be, I mean, off to the races. Mm-hmm. But so, like, personally, I'm welcoming like a sideways action around these levels. I mean, 1K ETH is just like a screaming buy to me. It's like asymmetrical upside is there, and it's like an easy 10x in my head.
Oh,
if the industry like survives, right? Which I am fully convinced it will. So I don't personally mind it. The whole thing is like the regulation, people getting screwed out of money. Like, it's just not, it doesn't sit well for sure.
Yeah. But I keep going back to like banks, and banks had these same issues when they first started up. You know, Wild West, we had bank robberies constantly, and banks are still here today. So
right.
When something grows too big to be denied, I kind of believe it's not going to go anywhere despite what may happen.
Yeah. And then, as the saying goes, like, you know, any press is good press type deal. Like, crypto's been in the news constantly. And I think an underlying tone of those conversations is that crypto didn't fail. Like, it was the centralized players in crypto that failed. And like, it's funny because the irony is funny. because like that's what the whole industry is trying to get rid of, and like that's the value add, is taking out the trust. And here we are again proving why, you know, on chain and all that stuff like really needs to become more mainstream. Obviously UX and everything has a long way to go, but it just proves the case that like crypto is definitely a plus EV for everyone.
Yeah, I think we actually end up with two different crypto ecosystems. One that's on chain and one that's more centralized. Like Fidelity's been pushing their crypto arm since like the week before FTX blew up. Mm-hmm. And like that makes sense to me because Fidelity is not going to commingle your funds and lose your funds. They're going to always back that money.
Yep.
Which gives boomers and people that don't really believe in crypto a safe way to say, hey, this will be fine. And you've got this government sanctioned like stable coin that they want to see happen, which also isn't a horrible thing to me because you have a safe on-ramp and off-ramp that will always be like a $1 on-ramp. The government isn't going to accidentally lose all your money either. Otherwise, very bad things will happen. And I think a lot of people see those as bad because it's anti-crypto in the sense of decentralization and like self-custody. But if you use those as your on-ramps and off-ramps, you have this safe haven to always fly to as long as you're being honest with your taxes. And then you can always jump into the deep end of crypto that we exist in and do all this incredibly sketchy, risky stuff. So like I don't see the bad side there. Like you can exist in both worlds.
Yeah. That's a great take. That's a great take. So cheers to you for that one.
Let's go.
But I agree, like, you know, Fidelity's going to have their gated access where they just offer these custody services. And I think others will play that game too. You know, like the Coinbase wallet, like you can trade on some dApps and go on chain, but it's still all, you know, kind of within Coinbase. And I think it'll even go to the next level, like you're saying, where Fidelity might offer that within their own custody thing. So, you know, the decentralized maxis, like the people who were here since 2012 probably cringe at this conversation because to them, anything that's not fully decentralized is just out of the question. But that's not practical.
Yeah, no, that's just wrong. Like I'll stand up and say, like, that's the wrong opinion.
Right.
And they can have that world, but you have to have guardrails for everybody else that makes it safe. Like you can go bowl without bumpers and bowl a 300, but you have to give someone that's never bowled before the ability to hit those fucking pins.
Yeah. You know, and onboarding the masses, you're not going to do it how it is now. I mean,
fuck no.
Just look at the last NFT bull run. How many people got their shit stolen? Because the whole self-custody thing is just a ton to take on. And when your account really runs up, it can be tough to sleep at night. I don't ever have problems sleeping if I have a fat stack of cash in the bank account, right? Because it's technically backed by the government. And so you need these centralized players to grow the space. I'm not saying everyone needs to like put their money in Fidelity. I actually would advocate that everyone learn the you know, the good practices of on chain and security and securing your own money, because that is the reason we're here. But to have this go to the next level, you need that subset of people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll see it happen. It's already happening. Like the fact that I see a Fidelity ad for crypto at least 3 times a day on Instagram, I don't see how it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I think I saw a tweet where they've been getting a ton of volume on their Bitcoin product already,
Really?
and it's all spot holdings. So that's great. You know,
we love that.
We do love that. Get rid of the freaking bad actors now, and let us rebuild and move forward. I mean, there's so many people that, I guess I go back to like, whenever these things happen, you think about the projects that are actually building and doing good for the space. If the number goes down and they're doing things right, it doesn't really affect things. They're still going to keep working day to day. And if they don't, they were never really going to be successful in the long run. So in my head, the space gets stronger every day, even though outwardly it looks like it's crumbling. And those are the times you need to capitalize on.
Right.
So
bodes well for the future, in my opinion. We may go lower, but we'll end up higher.
Yeah,
so
fully agree there. SBF is a cuck. He's one of those guys that's just like, he's not going to admit that he did it wrong. And I mean, you know, you got to kind of be real with yourself. Like, who's going to come out and just be like, oh yeah, no, I did everything wrong.
Right. He's the next Do Kwon.
Exactly. Right. And it was crazy when all this was going down, how like all the scammers were getting on Spaces. I mean, you have this 3AC guys. You go back literally 10 episodes or not even, and we're talking about the 3AC meltdown. You know, for those who fucking don't know, the hedge fund that blew up and kind of started everything with the Luna collapse. You could go back 10 episodes, and now these guys are on Twitter trying to be like a redemption arc and saying, oh, it was all SBF.
Right.
It's laughable. And it's kind of crazy that they're allowed to like exist in this space still. But yeah, it's wild, the attention span of crypto. Right?
Yeah.
2 months from now, people would be like, if ETH is up, they literally won't care.
No, I was even shocked to see 3AC guys, Do Kwon, Martin Shkreli, all those guys pop up, because like they were no longer the focus. All their bad actions were suddenly shadowed by SBF, and they have the ability now to come back and repaint their little history. Like we've seen this shit in crypto time and time and time again. I was not shocked.
And okay, I know you and I have had this conversation where the scammers of last cycle can show up the next cycle and people think they're like a demigod.
Yeah.
Because they don't know. They don't know the history.
No. And that's going to happen again. Like I
sure.
would not be shocked if bull market starts hitting again and few years down the line, and 3AC guys are back, Do Kwon's back, Danny Siesta's back.
The whole gang, dude.
The whole gang's back for one last run.
One last reunion tour. Okay, actually, this is a good like segue into this. Is, do you think we went artificially higher because all these dudes were just like rehypothecating funds and pumping us over and over and over again?
We kind of we have to have, right?
I think so. But then you could also argue, which I've been thinking about this a lot, because one, on the surface level, it's like, yeah, no shit, because they just leveraged to the tits and then that's why we pumped. But then I saw an argument for like all those layer ones they were spinning up, they were throwing like 250 million, fat checks to pump those ecosystems up. If that money never went there, I feel like there's an argument that just Bitcoin and ETH would have gone much higher.
Oh, yeah.
So you can look at it kind of both ways. And I guess the takeaway there is like, I still think, I mean, the layer 1 wars are kind of like a joke at this point. Like ETH is clearly proven that it's the dominant one. I do think it flips Bitcoin. So hot take there. If you really think that's a hot take, then I don't really know. But, I think it could probably do it in this sideways action, right? Just keep inching towards Bitcoin's market cap. But the takeaway there is that, if capital is more concentrated next bull run in just like Ethereum and Bitcoin and Ethereum ecosystems, it's going to be a wild ride if your money is placed in the right bets.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't even seem hard to find the right bets either.
No.
They seem very obvious to me.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because it's just like, I'm not looking for that 1000x shitcoin. I'm looking for that 3 to 10x already top 20 coin.
Right. I mean, to be honest, like if we're going to just talk about this real quick, I've been stacking ETH. Like anything near 1K to me is, again, like I said it earlier, but it's asymmetrical upside. Like if I think ETH is going 10K plus, I'll take a 10X and a quote unquote safe 10X at that. Because, ETH could drop 50%, but 50% versus 10X upside to me, I will buy all the way down that 50% drawdown and, be totally fine with it. Now, if ETH was sitting at like 3K, maybe I'm looking at a project that's like a little back in the top 50, for that 10X upside, or shitcoin dumpster diving, of course, if like raging bull market. But right now, I think the play is just like DCA ETH at these levels. If it pumps up to 2K, I'll probably like just preserve capital, but anything near 1K or under would just be a blessing.
I didn't notice, because I don't watch the price of ETH very often. I didn't notice that we actually dropped down to like 1,070 a few days ago.
Yep. Perfect buying opportunity. I mean, again, if you could buy 10 ETH for around 10K and that becomes 100K in a couple years, I mean, that is just a prime time bet.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it's not even like you're betting like 10x odds on something that has such a budding ecosystem and so many people working on it. Unless you believe mainstream media and it's like, oh, it's over, then sure. But if you work in the space and you know how many people are working on this behind the scenes, like in stealth and like the, you know, all the funds that are still out there raising money and deploying capital, let me tell you, it's bustling. People don't really give a fuck. Like, it was the day it all went down, it was kind of, hey, are you good? Like, you know, kind of reaching out to people in the network, figuring out who had exposure to FTX, and it was kind of just their own little ecosystem that they had all the issues. So it seemed like a lot of people were somewhat good, and obviously customers, you know, number one. Like, we'll go back there and say feel bad for anyone, but still, I think number go up eventually.
I'm here for it, man.
I know. The time off was necessary for you, I feel like, just to get away. And for me too, you know, just like the holidays and stuff, like taking a couple steps back from the timeline. I mean, did you see the spaces that was going down, like the marathon spaces?
Dude, yeah. I joined
40 plus hours.
Yeah. What do you talk about for 40 hours? Like, there's not that much content.
Recycling. The part that pissed me off the most, that I thought was super toxic, was just like the spreading of misinformation and wanting to be number one to get it out.
Which they're like trying to be a news cycle at that point. Like, they really took Elon Musk's citizen journalism comment to heart.
Right.
But that's exactly what led to the Reddit Boston bomber thing.
Oh my God. Yeah. That is so true. It was a perfect kind of, like comparison there. That's what it felt like. Everyone was trying to be the first to come out. Everyone was trying to solve the riddle. Like, what really happened? And, yeah, I don't know. It was kind of disgusting, because a lot of the stuff, they'd be like, breaking news, we just had someone on stage talk about this, and then it was proven to be not true. So they would say a new tweet and say, oh yeah, by the way, that wasn't true. But we all know what goes viral. It's right. the one that's the breaking news. It gets sent around.
It's the clickbait
and then the
one.
same right, and then the same people aren't going to spread the other one
right.
or even see it. And so you just had so much going on. It kind of like led to that capitulation down to 1K almost. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it.
No, me either. And that's why I started to. That's why I eventually kind of left the whole SBF conversation alone. Is it was suddenly being used less for information and more for just like personal clout. It felt like.
Yeah.
And that seems shitty.
Yeah. Not good. I do think like Twitter's like the go-to news space, because you can learn about up-to-date stuff that's happening. Even if you like search for it, it's crazy how fast you can get information over like kind of the legacy news rails. But the misinformation thing, I think, is going to be a huge issue going forward, especially with like all the AI stuff that's coming out.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, it's already a huge issue. It's just going to get worse.
You can make a video of someone saying whatever you want, and then it's super believable. It's only going to get better.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I guess at least Twitter is putting those like notes on stuff where it's like, if it's a misinformation type tweet, there's like a little note that goes below it now. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah, but at the same time, how many people on crypto Twitter are going to believe that note?
And also, that's impossible to get on top of.
Yeah.
Unless you literally have like AI working against AI.
What do you mean? Flesh that out a little bit.
Okay, so let's say I spread a misinformation And how does Twitter flag every single topic, right? Like, there's no way they can put that little note on anything, on everything. It seems like they're targeting the ones that are going super viral, which is a smart way to do it. But as we've seen, like, micro influencer accounts have a ton of leverage and spreading information these days. So if I go out there and spread some misinformation, it gets 200 likes. People then go talk about that, but mine doesn't get that little tag where it says, "Hey, by the way, this isn't what really happened." Mm-hmm. So you can still have like grassroots efforts of misinformation being spread pretty easily and not getting debunked. So unless Twitter was like running some crazy algorithms that could flag any tweet from any type account that, you know, hasn't even gone viral, then I don't see how they're just gonna like stomp it out.
Yeah, it's probably got some like back end metric system of like so many clicks or like engagements per minute that like flags it. It's got to have some, I want to say complicated system, but it could be incredibly simple where it's like 100 people saw this in 10 minutes. Like, let's go add a flag to this thing if we need to. It might be super simple.
Right? Who knows if they even have devs working right now?
It might just be one guy back there like, fuck, is this one real? Like Snopes.com.
Right? It's literally feels like it's just Elon like flagging tweets at this point. Like he's literally in every comment. It's crazy.
I'm at the point now with like the whole Elon Musk Twitter acquisition where I'm okay seeing Twitter just disappear. It's just getting crazy.
Yeah. I think we've touched on this before. I want it to be like, I want to look at this optimistic and be like, okay, I think he's going to make it for the better, but oh my God, he's doing everything he can to really test those beliefs.
I mean, I saw some stats that I think there was 50 advertisers that were responsible for like so many millions or $1 billion in advertisements, and they've all stopped since Elon's bought Twitter.
Perfect.
Yeah, sounds like the wrong outcome you want.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, now that it's private, I mean, I feel like that money just kind of goes straight in their pocket besides, paying for operations, of course.
I mean, he's got to pay back that $44 billion he just spent.
I know. He's probably going to pump the shit out of Doge, and then we're just going to be sitting here being like, damn, we should have bought dog coins the whole time because they outperformed us again.
Is that the exit strategy he has here? Because he came in that Twitter Spaces that had like 30,000 followers in it, pumped it to 70,000, and immediately was like Doge to the moon. So yeah, is he going to hedge his bet by just buying a fuck ton of Doge and then pumping it?
Okay, so like the timeline there, he's always been a huge fan, and then he wanted to move it to proof of stake, right? So even Vitalik was like chiming in on how they could do that. So I'm pretty sure he built a team or put it together to work on that. And then there's like the newest like revelation or breadcrumb or whatever you want to call it, where in the Twitter pitch deck or just like rather their roadmap, there was a blank slide that said payments and it was like left out. So of course all the internet trolls just went ham being like, it's all about Doge. And that's why it pumped from like 7 cents up to 10 cents, another 30% or so, or 50% rather. But, so yeah, I mean, people are thinking it's going to be like the payment rail.
I'm going to be so mad if again, for like the third time, some guy out there just buys all Doge and outperforms me again. I'm going to be so mad.
You know, what's been funny to watch is that Doge millionaire who got like super viral.
I hate that guy.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't sell a thing.
That's why I hate him.
And now he's posting his account and he's like, I'm back up to like 400K. Like I'm riding this to 10 mil. Like he's fully convinced.
Yeah.
It's just so tough to get behind buying something that's like what, a $50 billion market cap that technically is a meme.
Yeah.
But then again, memes rule the world. So like maybe I'm just super mid curving this whole thing, and I probably am.
I know I am, and I'm okay with it at this point. Like, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to jump in. I'm going to let it happen a fourth time.
We're going to go back to this for sure.
I'm going to be incredibly frustrated. I'm getting mad.
I know. Like, instead of DCAing ETH, should I just be DCAing Doge? It just feels like such a riskier bet. But then if you think about it, like if ETH goes bonkers, why wouldn't Doge. You know, the whole industry kind of pumps together type of deal.
I promise you there's someone out there today that spent all the money they had left into Doge and in 5 years is going to listen to this podcast from like an island and be like,
oh, for sure,
idiots.
And I hope they remember us and toss a little saint in our way, because maybe we convince them to go even deeper.
Here's a pity donation.
Right? I mean, if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, they're mid-curving hard, you should probably just ape everything you have into Doge right now. And then come back. They're like, oh,
Zero
this is a
hero,
mid-curve
baby.
competition. I know, right? It's like, okay, if I had a goal of like, all right, through the sideward action, let's try and get to 1,000 ETH, you know, which is a sizable chunk of money, because I think that's like an 8-figure bag in a couple years. But then if you maybe put that same amount into Doge, you'd have like a 9-figure bag.
God.
Or 0, straight up.
So annoying, man.
I know.
1,000 ETH though, that would be sweet. I would not be mad about that.
It just sounds like such a good number. And then if it goes to 10K, like, I mean, you're truly kind of set for life at that point. I feel like it's a cash out and enjoy the finer things, maybe start a couple businesses type of deal.
I don't know if I'd even start a couple businesses so I made that much off Dogecoin. I think I'd start like a shelter for dogs and just rescue dogs. I would make my entire life about dogs at that point.
Yeah, if you make it off Doge, like, you kind of have to. But okay, I think we kind of touched on SBF and FTX. There's not much more to say. If you really like, I mean, yeah, it is what it is at this point. All the information's somewhat out there. I'm sure it's going to keep coming out, so we'll touch on it more. But again, that's enough time on it. So have you seen the Bored Ape Yacht Club new teaser?
Yeah, I saw it shortly before this when you asked me if I'd seen it the first time.
I had to run these things back so people know what's good. If we could imagine if we like recorded our pre-podcast call, or if there was like a way to get that out. I mean, I don't think we should get that out, but that would be hilarious.
Oh my God. It would be enlightening. Ethersole, have you heard about this? Me? No. What? I have not paid attention for like 4 days.
I'm like, okay, here's the agenda. Here's everything we're talking about. You've heard about this, right? Let's go back to the first one.
So yeah, Bored Ape Yacht Club. There's a teaser I missed.
There's a teaser. So, I mean, heavy FUD. ETH dropped to 1K. Bored Apes went down to like 49 ETH or something, I want to say, a floor, which is still pretty remarkable when you think about it. But Bored Apes tweeted out on Thanksgiving or close to it that there's like some special thing coming Christmas, and the floor popped back to like 75.
Man, what do you think it is? Let's hypothesize a little bit here.
So it looks like a mecha monkey arms holding like a Pandora's box. So I don't really know, but then there's so many threads out there diving in. Of course, I've read a couple. People are thinking like it involves the dogs, and so those caught a heavy bid up from like 4 ETH up to 7 in one day.
Man,
dude, it pumped the whole NFT market.
Man,
it just goes to show that Bored Apes, like the whole yacht club, like without that, the NFT market would be pretty dull.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly prop a lot of it up, and a lot of it, I mean, we know a lot of this stuff leaks to certain people and then slowly leaks out, but their reveals of things that are coming are always super fun.
Yeah.
Like this could be dogs, this could be the trial of Jimmy whoever, or the mecha stuff.
Yep.
I have no idea what this could be.
Yeah, I think they said like this is the start of the trial or something like that. But either way, I mean, Christmas, and hopefully we get like a nice Santa rally or something like that.
That would be awesome.
Like, I mean, okay, so you took some time off. Were you in crypto at all during that? Or like, have you been touching NFTs at all, I guess is like where my question's going.
In the last like week?
Yeah.
I paid attention to some stuff on Discord. I lurk on Twitter. I'm constantly on Twitter. People think, oh, he's gone. He's not tweeting. I'm like, I'm there. I'm watching stuff. I just don't like things.
Did you have more people check in this time?
No, not a single person. Not a single person.
Okay. And in
actually,
fairness,
in Discord, a few people did.
Okay. Because in fairness, I think the last time that you took a break, it was like no tweets. And this time it's been like kind of a sprinkling of tweets, but not full Bender.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the lack of outreach. But anyway.
No, so I followed NFTs, the extent of things I'm paying attention to, communities I'm involved with.
Yep.
Things that are minting newly, not really people that are trying to build things right now, not unless I've already been keyed in. I've kind of got my own stuff under the hood I'm more focused on. So coins in the same way, I haven't really traded much, just kind of took a stable position and then some long bags and let them sit.
Yeah, no, that's kind of where I'm at too. I mean, it's tough to throw capital around right now, and that's usually the time when you should. But I mean, clearly should have tried and bought a Bored Ape or something like that. It would be up 20 plus ETH. But
yeah, I mean, remember the night I DM'd you and I was like, I'm buying a Bored Ape tonight.
Oh yeah, and I was stoked.
That was a perfect entry.
Finally, dude, you've been talking about this for fucking years. It feels like, even though they've been only out a year and a half. So anyway, and you really nailed the bottom.
Yeah, absolute pico bottom. And then I was trying to bid on the Ben Dow liquidations, and I couldn't get the right entry I wanted.
That whole thing was nuts, and people really went at Franklin. For those who don't know, he's kind of like, he has like 70 apes, I think, or something now. And he kind of is like the market maker and controls the floor for Bored Apes. But people were blaming him for the floor like falling off.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was valid. I only paid attention to him being the one that started all the liquidation, so he was harvesting the fees. Mm-hmm. And then also being the one that was outbidding himself.
I know.
I've never, if he listens, I'm going to say, he fucking stupid. Like, I'm watching these wallets bid for these apes, and I saw the same wallet outbid itself a few times, and I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm like, who is this idiot? And I was like, oh, it's Franklin? I was like, I don't care how smart you try to tell me this guy is. That was the dumbest thing I've watched someone do. It was just like, hey, you know what I don't want? I don't want $3,000 more.
Right. And I feel like, so Ben Dow had that, like, if you're the first bidder and then you win the auction or they pay it back, you get ETH.
Yeah. So if you start, because when the ape falls into liquidation, if you are the person that enters the first bid, you start the liquidation auction for 24 hours. And if that owner of the ape comes back and pays the loan off or does whatever to put themselves back in green territory for their loan, you get a 2 ETH fee for starting the liquidation process.
Wow, 2 ETH. So
if you can get these apes out of Ben Dow for under the floor or near the floor when they're worth a bit above, you are essentially either saying, I'm going to get a free 2 ETH for starting liquidation, or I'm going to get the ape, and I can then sell the ape into its actual price and take a profit line there.
He just whopped off that.
I think that's what he's been doing.
Okay.
Because he started 7 liquidations that day when I was watching them.
So you're saying if they paid it back or he won the auction, he got like 14 ETH?
Yeah, he tweeted that he got, I think, 10, 12, or 14, somewhere in that range, ETH from this Ben Dow thing. He explained what he was doing, which you never do in crypto when you found like a way to print money, because he just attracted everyone to this now.
I know. He had a gold mine, and I mean,
he mouthed off a little too much because he wanted the attention, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think he was getting a ton of blowback for people being like, yo, you're being a bad actor. And in reality, he's kind of like, you know, saving a liquidation cascade. But yeah, he rounded up a bunch of apes, and then I think, you know, that pumped to 70. He kind of clapped back on Twitter being like, and you were saying?
Right. But yeah, man, that would have been a ride. I was targeting, it was like a cheetah fur with the red BAYC t-shirt.
Oh, wow. That would have been a vibe. Would you have changed your PFP?
Oh, yeah. I would have kept that one. I was going to keep it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was sweet.
We missed our chance.
Yeah, we did. There's 2 other ones, too. I forget what they were. I think one was like a space. like an astronaut ape, but it got reclaimed. No. Yeah, the person claimed the loan back.
I mean, that's like 150 ETH.
Oh yeah, it was nuts. I was gonna throw some mad cash at that one.
I mean, literally anything under 100 for that boy would have been like a scoop.
Yeah, it was funny though, because like I used to sell stuff on eBay all the time as a kid. Like I got obsessed. Like I had the original 151 Pokemon cards that are worth like a gold mine today. I sold those things on eBay for $200 and some to buy a PS3.
Oh, perfect. So you basically traded like a full blown mansion for a PS3.
Exactly. Yeah. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm the smartest guy ever. Like I'm 12 years old. I'm like making money to buy my own PS3. This is awesome. But like even back then, like on eBay, I knew that you don't bid until the last few seconds. Like you snipe that listing to get it as low as possible.
Right.
Or if you're running with some friends, you guys are all putting stink bids in to blow up your own listings to pump them up higher. And I'm watching these guys start outbidding these apes with like 6 hours to go because they want to be the top bid.
Makes no sense.
No, I was just like, you guys are so dumb. And then at the very end, naturally, 15 seconds to go, someone just bundles up a high GOI transaction and front runs the bid and wins it. I'm like, you guys are idiots.
Right. Like, I mean, if you wanted to be smart, you'd try and hit up everyone that's bidding and be like, yo, let's talk about this.
Yeah. God, I was so annoyed. Like, I've never been that annoyed watching something in crypto as I was that night, as I was just like, I'm buying a Bored Ape tonight from these liquidations.
I can't tell you how excited I was for that too.
Yeah, me too.
It would have been amazing. But we can still dream about it, so that's fine. Or just talk about it. Should we hop into some Twitter topics?
Yeah, run it. Let's run them.
These are always my favorite part of the episode. It kind of like just gets back to the community and like lightheartedness aspect, if you will. We'll obviously go over some like crypto related questions, but there's also some non-crypto ones that are pretty good here. So yeah, let's kick it off. Let's kick it off with, I guess what we were just talking about. What would the NFT version of FTX look like? Ben Dow gets hacked and all deposited NFTs stolen? ? Blue chip project changes contract and suddenly you can't transfer your BAYC Fidenza, etc. What would that look like to you guys?
Oh man, I don't know.
I feel like, now, okay. This is one thing that it brings up another subject, but all the NFT projects can change the picture, the metadata, aka the JPEG, by uploading a new picture unless it's locked, right?
Yeah, unless they've frozen it or like renounced ownership.
Now, have all the major ones pretty much frozen it?
I don't really follow it. I know a lot of them, I don't want to say a lot. Many of the major ones have, like Apes, froze their metadata so they can't change theirs. Mm-hmm. I don't know about all the other ones, though.
So I guess my thing would be like, okay, someone hacks into your multi-sig or whatever it is that you have set up for your NFT project and just changes the picture to like, I don't know, whatever you're thinking of right now. And then that's that. But for like all projects, or somehow hacks OpenSea and is able to do that for a ton of projects.
Yeah, I think that's probably as close as it can get. Something like everything in your OpenSea wallet or I guess that's your MetaMask wallet is suddenly being transferred out.
Yep. Or I guess if one of these new marketplaces like Blur, like, if one of their contracts got hacked where it's like a custody contract. See, and they just took everything.
Yeah, that's the thing that's missing here with the question though, is that like FTX, you had to have stuff on FTX and your FTX wallet, and there's no like NFT thing like that. You'd have to have a Blur or an OpenSea that
custodies.
Yeah, that custodied for you, that you didn't use MetaMask for, that you actually just traded on their own platform. So it'd be like Coinbase wallet essentially, and Coinbase NFT.
But what about the approvals you give to OpenSea, and then if someone was able to go in, create a script where they, since there's approvals already there, they basically take all the NFTs that are approved and then transfer them out to another wallet?
Yeah.
That would be pretty bad.
That'd be pretty bad. That'd be pretty close. And I think like That's probably as close as you can get. But the more interesting part of the question, I think, is the fallout of it. Like the fallout of FTX was coin liquidations and cascading liquidations of people that were leveraged and X, Y, and Z. And the fallout of the NFT thing would be even worse. I mean,
right.
You can't just liquidate down. Yeah, you would implode everything.
Yeah. So not even fun to think about.
Yeah,
moving on.
You would have to yeah, man, you would eat all the WETH offers, and then you'd have to hope for stink bids to come in as you're trying to liquidate 1,000 apes or something. And
then how many projects would go, okay, we're going to issue, how you have 10 versions of punks right now. These are the V1 BAYCs, relaunch. And it's there's no way it gets back to that same floor. Just because of how things are right now. And
that'd be a good solution, though. I wouldn't be mad if Yuga came out and was contracts locked, no one's trading anything, we're airdropping everyone new apes.
How fucking crazy would that be? Honestly, can't even think about it. That sounds so messy.
Yeah, dystopian future we're not going to hit.
Okay, is Sol a buy when it hits $3 again?
Fuck no.
No. I think the whole value add there was Alameda propping it up, and we all thought they were gods, right? We thought they were printing money hand over fist. They own the casino, and they were the dealer, and they knew the cards, and they were playing at the table, right? Like we said. And so it was, they're for sure going to pump the shit out of their own coin next go around. They're putting on Robinhood. They got all the rails set up. Now I'm not touching that with 10-foot pole.
Yeah, no. I mean, $3 is what? It's at 13, 14 today, so it's a $10, $11 drop.
Yeah.
You might have positive price action after $3 because that was the legendary, I'll buy all your Sol at $3 a moment.
Could be a good trade, trade.
It could be a great trade, but you still have the king of Solana has been beheaded. Who's going to lead the charge here?
Right, exactly.
Not me. I'm certainly not joining the army.
You have to have a champion too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, ain't happening.
No, not a buy. I'm not in. I'm out. I have no Sol. Nothing on the Sol ecosystem.
Yeah. Can't do it. This is actually a good one that could bring up a longer conversation, but a brief discussion on MetaMask IP tracking. They basically came out with this recently saying they're going to track the IP of wallets that are used and kind of store that data. Are we using new wallets, changing RPCs? What's the go-to play there? Or nothing.
My knee-jerk response is twofold. The first one is who cares? Because Twitter has your IP, OpenSea has your IP, the bullshit website that some degen project launched for you to mint something for 0.001 ETH has your IP. Your IP's out there. People that get mad about that don't understand how the internet works and how easy it is to grab an IP from the second you connect to a website. My second response is if you care, VPN.
Right.
So, man, I've thought about that a lot in this undoxed, anonymous world of I just minted such and such, and someone sent me a link to mint this so they can figure out probably the timestamp I clicked it and narrowed it down to 50 connections, and I'm one of those 50. And I'm not using a VPN right now, so they would know oh, you live exactly here. But man, end of the day, who gives a shit?
I'm with you there 100%. I really kind of glossed over this. Again, it goes back to decentralized maxis where they're shitting themselves if you're not fully decentralized. To me, there's no way you're not going to be able to be doxxed. If someone really wants to find you and they're in the higher up government or whatever, they're going to find you.
Right.
No one really has we were kind of talking about this the other day where everyone's come out and doxing all these NFT guys. But again, it's funny because a lot of the community is anon, but let's be real. If someone wanted to undox you or dox you or whatever it's called, they could, because these NFT guys, let's be real. They're not sitting here with insane OPSEC, right?
Yeah, no.
Easy to find.
I've put a shocking amount of effort into obfuscating where I exist to the point where people thought I lived in Europe for a long time.
So you don't?
No, I live in the US. I've never tried to hide that, but I keep strange hours on the internet and people thought oh, you must be European or Australian. And There's one person actually I was on a call with, and they're like, oh, like, you sound like you're from this place, and they named the exact city I live in.
Oh shit!
I was like, holy
that's
shit.
creepy. Was that the intern? Because we still haven't figured out who the fuck that is.
No, it was a different guy I was doing something else with, and man, I was like, oh, like that's a weird place to guess. Why wouldn't you guess this, that, or the third? It was just so spot on.
Wow.
But like,
and then you're sitting there like, oh shit, how do I respond?
Yeah, I was like, fuck.
I wonder if this person listening is gonna know.
Yeah, they probably will. I know they listen to the podcast.
Oh, perfect. All right, there you go.
It was a very niche moment, and I don't know if they'll catch on. If they do, like, hello, you're right.
Yeah. No, that's hilarious.
Yeah, super funny. But end of the day, yeah, like I put a lot of effort and thought into anonymity and like being undoxed versus doxed, and it was almost unhealthy to a point where I was like paranoid of being undoxed and being able to be found, but it was all of a safety thing of like, I don't want someone to get like annoyed that I was like, hey, your bags are trash because the person that champions these is like a neo-Nazi or like some bullshit, and then have them come hunt me down. Like, I don't need to deal with like look over my shoulder at a grocery store.
That's kind of been the takeaway for me too. It's like, it was always a safety thing. It was never about like not wanting people to know who I am. Don't really care about that, but more so safety. Don't want some fucking creep show showing up at the Crippo.
Yeah, dude, that was always the fear. But now I'm just kind of like, you're not going to show up. Like, it's Web3. Like, you're a bunch of like...
Yeah.
You're a bunch of like anti-confrontational people. You're not going to come find me. Like, no.
I mean, think about it also is like, there's so many people that are way higher up on the food chain, and it's like, come on.
Yeah, like I'm not the target, and if I am the target, like I will welcome you into my house. We'll have lunch. We'll talk it over.
Yeah, we'll just talk
your
it
ass
out.
back out the door, and we'll go on our way. I'll follow you on Twitter. It'll be great.
I love it, and this is actually a phenomenal segue into the next question.
Oh,
and this is going to probably be heated for quite some time. So if you have differing opinions, let us know. But pizza and beer, or tacos and margs.
Dude, you got to go first. Actually, before this, let me give a shout out. 0x Arrow just DM me on Twitter saying they're inspired by trending down after all these months to scoop up a few mutant apes. So they got a new PFP and a new M2 mutant that's blue. Just saw the DM. Looks sweet. Told him we're recording right now, so I'd hit a shout out for him.
That's sick. I actually, they kick it in the Plutus Discord all the time. So shout out. That's dope.
Hell yeah. All right, tacos and margs or pizza and beer. You have to go first because I don't know.
Fuck. Okay. Let's break this down.
Oh man.
Pizza and beer are pizza's amazing. So let's stop there. Full stop. I like a good IPA every now and then, but beer is not really my go-to drink. So that's tough. As to where tacos and margs, I'll literally slam that at 8 a.m. Every single day of my life for every meal. So I feel like I have to go tacos and margs just because I worship both options. But damn, it hurts to kind of throw shade at pizza like that.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I'm not a beer drinker. I'll have a beer occasionally, but I'm not the guy that's like, hey, let's go grab like a flight of like IPAs and Kolsch's and Pilsners.
Right.
But I am the guy that will down like 4 like blood orange margaritas and then eat 10 tacos. But it's a conversation between tacos and pizza for me. And I'm actually Googling types of pizza and types of taco and looking at the different variations, trying to figure out like which one has more variety.
I mean, you can get a pizza with anything on it, and you can put anything in a taco. Some people think hot dogs are tacos, right? So, or maybe they're sandwiches. I don't know.
God, dude, I think I'm going pizza and beer because I can make a taco pizza.
True.
And that might be enough. That might be enough.
So you hate margs?
No, I love margs. But I just love pizza. And like I'm looking at pictures of pizza and they're like pulling the cheese apart.
I know, dude. Pizza's so good. So like sick. I'm super fucking hungry right now. So this is a great topic.
Yeah, and think about it. You make tacos at home and you're like, oh, these are good tacos. But you make pizza at home with like your own dough. And it's different.
It does hit different. I feel like all these like new pizza ovens too that are coming out. Like the at-home pizza is the new wave.
Oh, dude, yeah. There's no taco oven. Like, I can't buy a taco machine at my house. It's pizza and beer all the way. I will miss you, margaritas.
Yeah.
I will simply drink. I don't know.
I also kind of love tacos because of the chips and salsa that come out, which I always just absolutely house like 4 baskets. But because how could you not? But so if that's not part of the equation, then maybe I'll alter. But damn, that's a hard hitting question.
Yeah, I need to see if this restaurant is global, if it's just local. Otherwise, I'm not going to say it. But I go there's a restaurant that has bomb tacos and margaritas here, but they just deliver chip basket after chip basket, man. And oh gosh,
it gets you, dude. If you're like, you want guac? It's like, okay, yeah, duh.
Of course I want guac. How can I say
next
no?
Question. In this economy, yeah, I still want guac.
Absolutely.
Okay. Think of iconic duos in history. This one, I don't even have any fucking clue how I'm going to answer. So, think of iconic duos in history. Which one is Ethersole and which one is Bender?
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, this will be good.
Oh, man. I don't even know where to go, so I'll let you kick this one off.
I have a lot of ideas, but a lot of them you can extrapolate horrible things from, so I have to be careful.
I know. That's where I'm like, okay.
My first idea was hilarious, but it was gonna come back to bite me in the ass.
I mean, why? It's just us.
Well, have you heard of Genghis Khan and the things he did?
Oh my god.
Exactly. Okay, so you can't go there. You can't go there.
Okay.
However, I was the horse. You were him. So.
Okay.
What do we got? Iconic duos. I go to sports duos. I'm like Kobe and Shaq, Michael Jordan and Pippen, LeBron and whoever is on his team. I only had 3. I don't want to do a sports duo. I want to do something. Oh, Andre and Danny Siesta, the rug doctors of crypto Twitter.
Wow, and we're the rug doctors of podcast Twitter.
Oh, so we just need to start like ending the podcast abruptly.
That would be
just
fucking
mid sentence.
Well, we kind of rugged it for a couple weeks there.
We did.
So we are doing our part.
We did. Yeah, we did. Okay, iconic duos in history, man.
SpongeBob and Patrick.
Are you Googling this?
I literally have a list of like top 50, and I was like, that's honestly pretty good because we're just clowns. So a lot of these are food too. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I didn't even think about that angle.
Dude, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. I also Googled it.
Yeah. We're probably on the same exact list right now. But
500 list of people.
Yeah, something like that.
Burgers and fries. SpongeBob and Patrick. Yeah, I know where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a phenomenal question. I honestly would be intrigued to hear what people think just from listening. You know, I feel like kind of when you listen to a podcast, at least for me, you almost get to like know the people a little bit, and you have your own, I don't know,
mental image of them. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So it would be interesting to hear what people think. That would be hilarious.
Okay, I've got mine. I found mine.
Okay.
Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner.
Okay, yeah, that's a great one.
Absolutely. And I am the Roadrunner because I am the one that you have to track down, and you're like, are we doing this today?
I'm setting traps.
Yes. And I'll be like, I'll hit you up before 10 a.m. And it's 10:20, and I'm like, I almost made it. Hello.
And then we just get it done. You know what I mean? It's as simple as that.
I also just love that cartoon. So
it's a great cartoon.
That's a hard one.
It's super hard one. Don't even really know where to go with it. I mean, obviously you had to Google it. So.
Oh, dude, tequila and lime.
Wow.
We just talked about margaritas for 20 minutes.
That's a great one too.
You're the tequila. You're the body.
The body.
I'm the garnish.
But you can't go without the lime.
No, you gotta dunk me inside.
If you're a badass, you're going without the lime, of course. But you know, not everyone can be a badass.
No, of course not. God, I made avocado toast yesterday and just squeezed lime on the top of it. Ooh.
Lime,
dude, it changed the entire.
I've
toast.
never done lime. I've always done lemon.
Yeah, I didn't have a lemon, so I had to use a lime. I wanted a lemon.
Oh my God. It's like when you go abroad and you're like, yeah, can I get a lime? And they just bring lemons. So
Yeah,
it's
like,
like the
okay.
opposite of that, basically.
This is a yellow lime, I guess. Sure.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Okay, speaking of doxing and all this stuff. So we're talking about the podcast, the future of it. The rebrand will be out there. Let us know what you guys think about that. But as far as the future of the show, I mean, you and I have always discussed doing like a video format type of deal. I think that would be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
But it would be interested to hear, and maybe like on a more frequent cadence, but around like 30-minute episodes. So obviously it would still have an audio format, but maybe more per week, which is fucking hilarious trying to think about us committing to that. But I feel like a video show would be a little different. So thoughts, and then obviously if you're listening this far into it, you got to let us know your thoughts. But thoughts on that?
We've talked about it for a long time. It's always been out there in the air of like, what's the value, what's the not value there. I think it'd be fun. Seeing other people dox on the timeline is exciting, because I know for a fact that no one expects someone to look like they think they do until they see the photos. So like when Frank doxed, I was like, that's no way. Like that was not my mental image of him. So the act of doxing is super fun. And there's something to be said about just, I think, having your face out there. So I think it'd be fun. And I had a lot of people hit me up being like, dude, you got to dox after Frank and Jimmy dox.
Chad. Yeah. And I also think it would be cool because you could have like the topics on maybe the right side and an infographic to where I know people have requested like, hey, can you timestamp certain topics so I can fast forward and don't have to hear all the bullshit in between.
Yeah.
super honest, but
get the what show is that?
Like
ESPN
Around the
Hot
Horn
Take?
And Pardon the Interruption and stuff.
Pardon the Interruption, that's what it is. Yes.
Yeah. Where it's like, and then there's a timer, right? So we can't just ramble as long as we want. And it kind of keeps things in a steered, more like organized direction. But then it would be a shorter show, right? This is kind of like, I feel like this is more long format. We're just, towards the end, we're just shooting the shit, which is, I mean, that's kind of my favorite part. But obviously, the whole point is to kind of give information on the industry as well.
I guess I don't see why we couldn't do both.
Right.
You could have a long content podcast and then a few times a week short content video form.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like, okay, so we've also had people talk about getting more guests on the show. So we could do that. And then with the video format, you could also do that, but it would be interesting because of how prevalent anonymity is in the space. And so you might have people who like aren't down. But then again, Up Only like has guests all the time.
Also, Deez has a video podcast now, and I think they put the NFT profile picture over the person's face. They do.
Okay.
Yeah, so they obfuscate it that way.
I mean, shit, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on podcasts. I've been on video podcasts for other people, and they just put my my profile picture in place of where my face would go, and I have video on, and that was fine. So a lot of options to get people on the show with a video content or audio content. Yeah.
Well, shit. I mean, we have a ton of good direction. I think now that we're back on, again, it's like riding a bike, like you said at the beginning, and we're here to crank out some content, get back to it, but maybe even like we're just kind of like thinking about the future of the show with all the rebranding that you'll see. It's like kind of going for a more, I mean, we want to be like a giant in the next bull market and a place people go for good information. We have such a good community already. Like the people that listen shout out because you're the reason we're still doing this. I mean, it's a ton of fun for us, but that's like the main reason.
Oh yeah. I don't enjoy waking up early in the mornings to do this. I'll be honest. This is not for me.
Full transparency.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, and we have to get an episode out soon because people are just dying to hear what's going on. So we'll probably get this out today.
Send it.
Full send. But yeah, let us know. I mean, we want the show to be catered to what people want to see. And if you want some video format, we can maybe think about doing something like that.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. It's It's a conversation I had very recently about doxing, and more people know who I am today than they did 8 months ago.
Yeah.
One of those is you, because I accidentally sent you a referral link with my entire name in it.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
For the lottery, which is hilarious.
I know.
Of all things.
I was doing some degen things by myself, and I was like, hey, here's the app I was using. And it's like, hey, welcome from full name. I was like, oh, well, that's me.
I know, right? Oh, man, that was actually hilarious. Well, immediately deleted it.
Yeah, didn't the one of our mutual friends like dox my phone number or something? Or he sent some screenshot of my Discord profile where he had to put a custom note in there. Yeah, explaining who I was, and I was like, bro.
So funny. So yeah, I mean, again, like, open to anything, suggestions. If you like just pure anonymous and audio format, that's fine too. Let us know.
Yeah.
You know, we can keep it as is. So
we can do it all.
We can do it all. Well, we'll try.
We'll see what we can. We'll see.
Anything you want to say before we wrap this one up? Anything you're looking forward to? Anything on the horizon? Or did we cover it?
Ooh, yeah. Shameless plug. Adopt a family for Christmas. It's the most fun thing you will ever do. There's families out there that can't afford Christmas presents, that have a tough time financially. If you made money in crypto, give some of it back. Adopt a family. You get to pick out all the gifts they get. They give you Christmas lists, and you just get to make it all happen. You deliver this truckload of gifts at the end of the day. It's amazing. Adopt a family. You won't regret it.
Wow, it's like you work for Adopt a Family right now.
I know, right?
I was like, literally like, okay, any sponsors that are listening to this, literally fucking hit us up, because that was professional level right there.
Absolutely. It's something my girlfriend started doing before we met, and we've done it every year now. It's awesome. It's my favorite.
Where do you go for something like that? Is there a website or like?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a local thing,
or
if it's I think it's a national thing, but there's websites all over for both local and national.
You don't deliver it yourself, do you?
You do. There's options. So you can either, the family gets to decide whether they want to have contact or no contact.
Got it.
And it's more fun when the family wants the contact, because then you show up a few days before Christmas or a few weeks before and essentially drop off like an SUV truckload full of wrapped gifts.
That's amazing. I hate wrapping, but we can figure that part out.
Oh, dude, gift bags. It's awesome.
Perfect.
Because then you're like, you see these Christmas lists where it's like dish soap and like towels, or like, you know, warm sweaters, and the kids want like one toy, and you're sitting here like, you're getting every toy on the aisle.
Yeah. I was just going to say, like, where would I even go for a toy store, since like I feel like Toys R Us is like no longer a thing.
Yeah, I know. They're in Macy's now, actually. I found them in a Macy's. Yeah, I walked through there, and I was like, I need to buy everything for these people.
Just buying PS5s and
honestly, I said that to my buddy. I was telling him I do this, and he was like, what I don't like about that is you'll have someone like want like a PS5 and like all this, and I was like, that's pessimistic. Like, let people have aspirations. Like, I'm buying you the PS5, damn it.
If you're gonna like toss it out there, then at least the least you can do is be like, no.
Yeah.
You know, but aim high.
Absolutely.
Good shout. Is that it?
That's all I got.
Well, shit. Okay. Again, you made it this far. Appreciate you guys listening. We're back. Episode 17 is a wrap. Check out the new branding, the YouTube. The producer is probably going to give me a raise for tossing all this out there.
You're getting paid?
I know. I was just about to say, yeah, right. If you're a sponsor listening, hit us up, though. We're like looking into that. But anyway.
Not FTX.
Definitely not FTX, which is hilarious, because that was like on the drawing board of ideas. We had no idea, you know?
Yeah.
We had no idea.
But we never did it.
We never did it, and the people that did are kind of getting like some backlash for that.
Yeah. Well,
is what it is. Sucks to suck.
That's how the cookie crumbles.
That's it. That's it for Trending Down. So good to be back. So again, thanks for listening.
Thanks again, guys.
Peace.